Go for it.
You ready? All right. Where's it at? I don't even know where it's at. No gavel. All right. Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. Thank you for coming this evening. This is our July 19th, 2011 Board of Trustees regular meeting. Call the meeting to order, Dave, please.
Call the roll. Mr. Haddad?
Here.
Mr. Genowine? Mr. Genowine is not here. He is on vacation tonight, and informed the board in advance he would be out of town vacationing with his family. Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
Simcoe, here.
Let's stand, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Were there any additions or deletions that need to be?
There are under one of them.
Okay.
Under the July 5th regular meeting.
July 5th. Okay.
It's under the page 3 near the bottom where it says open discussion. Trustee Haddad is looking into the township having its own water tower, which was wrong. I was looking into Sylvania Township and Sylvania City, plus possibly Springfield and Southern Michigan having our own water system.
Okay.
So in case Toledo breaks down, we still would have water available for our residents.
You said the city, the township, and southern Michigan?
Southern Michigan and Springfield. Because my concern was that they're reducing the flow. That's what I said at that time. So we didn't want a water tower. The city has their towers. We just want to make sure we have water available for all of us.
Thank you for catching that.
No problem. That's the only thing I found wrong.
I'll make that correction, Kevin, and you guys want
Yeah,
to approve those?
approve those as corrected. Yes. Motion to approve is corrected.
Second?
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Otherwise, the meeting, all the other meeting minutes.
Everything was fine.
Put it in that motion.
I went through all of them. I went through every one of them. They're all fine.
Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
Yes, I'm going to give us an update on our stormwater thing. We can do that down near the bottom, where it says open discussion. We'll talk about that during that point there.
Okay. Anything else, John?
Do you have anything?
I vote for agenda items.
Hearing of the public for agenda.
Okay. So what I forget?
Well, we have some people that want to speak on the, I believe.
On TARDA?
On TARDA.
Is that something you would like to think we ought to wait towards?
Well, that's going to be
towards the
done,
open discussion?
where it says open discussion. We have that
Okay.
down there near
Yeah, why
on
don't we-
15.
Those people don't mind, we can hold that till the open discussion section, this session, and,
Is that okay when we have the open discussion to talk about that? You guys mind sitting all night with us?
okay. And then we'll defer that to the open discussion.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else? I noticed Art had something he wanted to bring up, but I don't see your name on the list.
It was on there were two lists.
That's the non-agenda. That will be.
Oh, that's an, okay.
That'll be later on.
My apology. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the zoning department, and we have a resolution and a monthly report. Tim?
Tim, we have a long meeting tonight, so be brief.
Good evening. For the month, we had 24 permits, 2.2 million for the year. 163 permits issued, 12.7 million of those 20 are new housing starts, 13 are commercial alterations. In regards to BZA and zoning commission, total of 15 zoning commission cases for the year so far, and 12 for the BZA. And finally, in regards to violations, we had 49 violations this month, a total of 100 so far, a little bit ahead of last year. 30 remain open, all of them are tall grass. Which brings me to the next item. We are offering a resolution for the authorization of abatement. There are properties at 4747 Mary Hill Road, 5202 Estes, 3621 McCord, 5030 Janet, and then lots 1, 2, 3, 6, 13, 14, 15, 18, 23, all of Eagle Creek.
All right,
Resolution 11 and 124.
I'll offer resolution number 11-124, authorization for the abatement of said properties.
Second.
All in roll, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Next on the agenda is Public Works Department. Greg, do you have anything?
I do. Greg, I was over at Fire Station 2 today because, well, I'll talk about that during the fire station part. But we need a sign before there with some flashing lights because people are using that for a U-turn. They're turning around in our driveway in case we have an emergency that could be very dangerous.
The driveway on McCord Road?
Yes. I saw
Okay.
tire tracks there, lots of them.
Okay.
So we need to get some signage out there that says no U-turn and, fire station ahead. And I would probably see if we could get some flashing red lights when their sirens are going off so they stop and not block the driveway too.
I'll chat with the county engineer's
Okay.
office and seek
That's what I was
advice.
hoping to do. That's why I just want to give you a heads up on that today. All right? Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Woody. Fire department?
We have the monthly report, Chief.
Thanks.
Good evening. Before you have our June monthly report, I'll be brief with this. On page 1, you can see that, on page 2, you can see that our fire incidents are up a little bit from last month at 16. Our rescue, emergency medical services incidents are at 236. On page 3, we are increasing, as I spoke with you about last May, that our respiratory distress runs are increased a little bit due to the weather and the humidity that we're having. I anticipate that continuing on through these next couple weeks. We're seeing a lot of respiratory distress and difficult breathers. We did have one cardiac arrest. That cardiac arrest was an individual that was deceased when we got there. We worked on that individual, took him to the hospital, and 3 days later he left the hospital back with his family. So we're real proud of the crews for the fine work they did with that.
Good.
On page 4, you'll see the mutual aid incidents. We gave mutual aid to Toledo several times. Toledo Fire Division has been extremely busy with their fires, as you've seen on the news. We filled in at station number 25 at 2933 Central Avenue a couple times, once on June 5th, and then again on June 9th. We did also respond a engine company and a chief officer to Springfield to assist them on a structure fire on June 7th. The other two incidents at the bottom were mutual aid, the Alexis Road and Flanders incident. We received mutual aid from Toledo Fire Division. We needed a transport vehicle there because there were no transport vehicles available in Lucas County at that time, so we utilized their ambulance service that Toledo Fire Division does to take a person to the hospital. On page 5, you'll see that building project plan reviews are up again. Lieutenant Froelich went ahead and reviewed 11 building plan reviews, 2 site plan reviews. The Wildwood Orthopedic Hospital has a temporary occupancy permit. They are starting to occupy that building. They have a couple last-minute things they need to do with the suppression system. Once that's in, they'll get their final occupancy permit. We did go ahead and send Lieutenant Froelich to the National Fire Academy for some leadership and strategies for community risk reduction classes. Hopefully we can when he gets back, he'll have some ideas for us to reduce the risk in our community. On page 6, you'll see that the monthly training report, the crews concentrated on ladders, pumps, and then advancing fire hoses into the tower. Just after that training that they did in June, we had a serious fire on Alexa Lane, right off of Very Street. That crews will be able to deploy large diameter hose lines and actually cut the fire off. That was through the roof when the crews arrived, and saved the rest of the house, so people were pretty happy about that. The personnel hiring on page 7, we did have the test this last Saturday for full and part-time employees. We invited 89 to take the test. 68 individuals showed up to the test, which is about 77% of the people that were invited, which is normally you get about 68 to 70% show up for the test, so that we were pretty happy about that. And we took in 4 resumes for the position of deputy chief. Page 8, see a picture of the fine trustees there doing the uncoupling of the hose at our new firehouse that is located on McCord Road. That's from the open house we had. And then the last 2 pages were a thank you from City Council, one for our participation in Safety City, and then also from SCAT on the last page, 10, for the mock accidents that we helped to plan for both Northview and Southview. That is all I have for the report, unless you have anything for me.
The only thing is, I was going to say, I went to Foreman Irrigation today to get some parts for my sprinkler system. They told me they were waiting for the new meter from City of Toledo. No one called to authorize it. I just want to let everybody know publicly, I called to authorize it, it's in, and we're ready to go tomorrow with the sprinklers, so.
Okay, they were supposed to be there Monday laying pipe. They weren't laying pipe on Monday?
They were laying the pipe and everything. The problem is that they didn't get approval to get the,
I see. Okay.
what do you call it? The
Meter
put in.
Yeah, the guys have been...
City of Toledo, and I had that authorized to do that, so.
Thank you.
I just want to let everybody know, so I didn't do anything wrong. I just want to know we got it done.
Great, thanks for doing that. I know the guys have been trying to keep the grass growing with hoses and sprinklers.
Yeah, and I talked to those guys, they got other stuff, when they got to run, they can't sit there and water the grass in this heat. We got to get the system up and running.
Yeah.
I want to take care of residents, not take care of the grass.
Thanks, Chief.
Nothing else for me? Thank you.
Oh, yes, one more question. How are we doing with the BLS? Are we doing anything about that? Because you mentioned the fact that we have to wait for ambulances, and I'm getting to the point of where, God forbid, somebody out here needs an ambulance. If we don't get our own ambulance system going, I'm really going to get worried very soon.
Well, I gave the white paper last Tuesday to the trustees to review, and hopefully I can sit down with you and answer any questions that you have with that. I have made contact to a couple agencies, one to rent, to buy a vehicle, and also to purchase a transport unit. I've been working with the Lucas County and getting some of the Lucas County bids out, get the same prices that they get for their transport units and their equipment. And we're continuing to work towards getting that unit in service. Part of that whole puzzle was the hiring of new individuals. We just went through the test Saturday. We did the points assessment. We finished that today, and we're going to start the background checks hopefully by Thursday or Friday.
Great.
So we're working towards that goal, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to get that going as soon as possible.
Yes.
Thanks, Chief. Next item on the agenda is the Police Department, and Chief Bunny is here to give his monthly report.
I'll make this brief as promised. We had 1,514 calls for service in the month of June, which was down 48 from the previous month. We wrote 128 citations for the month of June. You can see all the individual crimes on the sheet there on page 3. A couple of note or of interest usually. Burglaries, we had 11, which is up to. Thefts, we had 57, which was down to. And all other crimes, we were actually down 28 with a total of 124, which is a pretty good trend for summer months. Usually crime and thefts and burglaries go up during that time. Crash reports, 48 for the month of June, down 27. Injury accident reports, we were at 18 and we were up 9. Our detectives continue to be very, very busy, especially working the arson homicide. They've developed some good leads. I'm not privileged at this point to talk about it in public, but let's just say that the case is moving along very well. Today there was a development that may assist them. Fireworks at Centennial Terrace, I think, was a great success. We actually got the traffic cleared out of there, and what we determined, at least for our purposes, to be record time, we were done by just after midnight. Actually got no complaints for a change, and a couple of compliments on how the department handled the situation. We did actually, we received our 6 new Crown Vics yesterday, just in time, because we have actually 2 cars that are ready to be retired out due to mileage, and there's some major repairs on the one, so we got them just in time, so we're in good shape with cars. As far as our dispatcher test, we had 146 applicants take the test Sunday, July 10th. We've already received the scores back, come up with our bands. It's looking like, according to the bands and the disqualification for other reasons, that initially we'll probably interview about 10. And, do backgrounds on about 10, which takes a pretty good period of time, but we're starting to move along in that case.
Good.
As you know, Deputy Chief Carroll started yesterday, and even though there's a huge learning curve as far as starting with another department, his experience has already proven to be very beneficial, and he's going to be a huge asset to the department. And things are going along real well there. That's all I really need to cover at this point, if you have any questions or anything.
I felt bad that I walked in on you today, so it was good.
Pardon me?
I said I felt bad that I walked in on you today, so that was good.
Oh, that's okay. That was no problem at all. Do you have any questions or anything, any issues? Okay.
Nice work, Chief.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Administrator. I'd like to, Resolution 11-126, I'm going to delete. Resolution 11-125 will include all the furniture that we are going to get rid of because of the new furniture we got in. Mainly this is desks, cabinets, chairs, and file cabinets. And the ORC allows us to put these items on the website under a company called GovDeals, and you can go to the GovDeals and bid on those items, the public can, and purchase them. So the resolution is authorizing us to sell those obsolete and surplus pieces of equipment.
But you're going to add that on there for the furniture, correct, on this?
Yeah, that will, in 125, since we didn't list individual items, we just called it road machinery, equipment, tools, supplies, that will be included in there. So we don't need the 2 resolutions, we need just the 1.
All right. Go ahead, Neil.
Offer Resolution 11-125, the auction surplus office furniture, and intent to sell via auction.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is the fiscal officer, and Mr. Simko, I'll turn it over to you.
Just briefly, we have our monthly month-end analysis, which is through June of 2011. Really, the following percentages, and you can read, I won't read the whole thing, but just some highlights. The following percentage are for the month-end of June 11th. It should be that after the standard percentage, it would be 50%. We're about 6 months into the year. And if you look at our numbers on our revenues, are roughly about where we project them to be, roughly close. On expenditures, we're slightly below. We want them to be below. They should be below 50%, and that's about where they are. And so we feel right now, financially, the township is doing actually pretty well in the economic times that we're kind of dealing with. That's probably a function of good planning by the departments, the trustees, keeping an eye on finances, and maybe a certain degree of luck in some of these issues too. So that's really all I have to report. I think at this time, I feel cautiously optimistic that we're doing well for this year, but we've got 6 more months to go. We do talk to departments every month on watching their expenditures, sticking within their budget, being cautious with the revenues that come in and the expenditures that they're making. So we'll keep that up for the rest of the year. And then Mr. Beck is going to present, unless there are any questions, Mr. Beck's going to present motions that we have, for the resolutions.
Just a quick note here, Dave, the benchmarking program that we put in place, you're doing great, and we're getting our numbers dialed in, we're able to budget these numbers and
Well, we're going
able to calculate,
we
and
will be, for 2011, we'll be able to get these numbers.
so we're going to have hard numbers on each department, where the money's being spent,
Right.
okay, forecasting and everything, so that,
It's a new,
Yeah, it's great.
something new, and you raised, and the trustees have been interested in this, and we are trying to introduce like a benchmarking where we try to evaluate ourselves with other communities that are similar in size, and there's all sorts of things you can do. We watch our budget, we try to budget carefully, we communicate with departments, as I've said, but there's some other techniques and tools out there that you can use to see how you're doing vis-a-vis other communities, and it's of interest in that, just to look at and understand and try to get a better feel for what we're doing, and the trustees have encouraged the fiscal department to do this, and we're anxious to do it, to help us be better stewards of taxpayers' money. So,
thanks, Dave.
Jim, Mr. Beck, we have a resolution.
Good evening. I have three resolutions on the agenda for your consideration. The first resolution is an appropriation from unencumbered balance. There's two particular line items. One is in the police, or both are in the police department. One is in their operating fund, in the capital equipment fund, and the other one is in their law trust fund for monies. And the $20,000 we're asking to increase the appropriation is so we can outfit the new vehicles that just came in. We generally try to replace or use other stuff from older cars to replace in new cars. We're not going to be able to do that this year.
Can't do that now because of the new systems that we're using.
Stuff. So we're asking for that increase. The other increase that we're asking for is in the, like I said, the trust fund. And that's money that we have to send to Lucas County for forfeited money in order to get our 30 or 70% back. So we have to spend it, send it out, and then we'll get our percentage back. So that's Resolution 11-121 for your consideration.
I'll offer Resolution 11-121 to appropriation from the unencumbered balance for upgrading the new police cars.
Second.
Mr. Haddad.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Thank you. The second resolution I have is 122, and this is some of the line items within the fire fund. We're running short, and we're asking that we transfer from some other line items that we have plenty of money left to cover these items. And basically, it's building repair, station supplies, building maintenance supplies, and some office equipment that we need to increase the line items. And we're taking it from scanning services, which we're not going to get into in total this year. We're going to start, but we're not going to do it 100% of the year. And some money from some moving expenses, which we're all done spending in that line item, so.
Scanning's to save on the paper, I'm assuming? and the
Scanning
time
is
and all that?
right.
Okay, great.
We've started that, if you remember correctly, we started that project here in Administration Building. We're doing it in the Police Department, and my plans is to introduce that late this fall into the Fire Department, so we
Great.
don't need the
Great.
all the line items, so.
I know they've been calling me to come back out to Sire.
Pardon me?
They called me to come back out to the Sire conference in Utah. I says, I'm not going twice.
Yeah, I got the email also, so.
I'll offer Resolution 11-122, transfer of appropriations.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Haddad.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
The final resolution is a payment of a then and now purchase certificate, and this is for a change order for Fire Station Number 2 that for some reason didn't get approved. Or it got approved but never got into the county system, and now that the bill is
It's a
here
then
to
and now,
be paid,
yeah.
we gotta pay it. So it's over the $3,000.
I don't like then and nows, but I'll offer Resolution 11-123 to pay certificate to Transtar Electric of $3,828.63.
Second.
Mr. Haddad.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
That's all we got.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the open discussion about the discussability to opt out of TARDA. I would ask anybody that wants to speak to it to sign the list to come up to the podium.
Hey, John, if I could, we've got 5 people that want to speak on behalf of TARDA, and it looks like we've got a lot of people from the Grove Bell neighborhood with regards to the non-agenda items. Could we give them the ability to say what they need to say, and if they'd like to be on their way, they can?
No, because they're not on the agenda.
Is a non-item agenda, they're written down in?
Neil, what about agenda items first?
Yeah.
Okay, I just was trying to, in the essence of keeping this thing moving, so. Okay.
You
So
want to comment on that?
we'll stay the course then?
Yeah.
Okay,
You want to call the people up as they signed it?
sure.
Before they speak, should I give a brief
Sure, you can,
synopsis of what's
the
going
trustees
on
can start,
first?
and then they can talk about it.
To the general public, Randy Gardner from the Perrysburg district out there had put into House Bill 153 the ability for any entity in TARDA to opt out, because TARDA is the only system like it uniquely in the state of Ohio. That's done by a tax bill through property tax. And so with doing this, he's given us till the end of 2013 to opt out, if we so choose to. The city of Sylvania passed TARDA, the last levy, by over 1,000 votes. The township only passed it by 12 votes. A lot of residents want to say if they want to get out or not. The reason I brought this up is because I've had so many people said, can we vote on it at least? I feel as a public official that citizens have the right to vote on where their tax dollars are going. And this is an option for them to be able to vote to see if they want to stay in the system or out of the system. If the vote does pass, we will definitely look in how we're going to contract services to make sure that we still have transportation available. But I do believe that people should have the right to vote. So that's what I want to say to start out with, and we can let the people speak on it.
Okay, Neil, you want to call them off?
Sure. Carol Lindhuber.
You said you weren't going to vote tonight, Neil, is that correct?
I'm not prepared to vote this evening, no.
I'll pass then until
Okay.
we decide that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Forgive me if I don't say this name properly. Ernie?
Ernie.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Ernie.
Okay. Members of council, Mr. President, thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. Just to reiterate, it was House Bill 150. When it got to the Senate bill, it was 153 that
Correct.
was approved.
Right.
You're right, it did only pass by 12 votes. It should be made to the voters thing. The transportation, as before our meeting, Kevin, you did state that you did have a possible backup plan if this was to happen. I commend you for that. I thank you for doing that. Thank you for attending the board meetings. I'm glad to see you there.
I'll be back.
I did go down to the government center today and I noticed that we have over $2 million of value of property that is currently in foreclosure status because of the current economic world.
Correct.
And not only is it TARDA being affected for social services, but also the fire departments are, everything being affected.
You're right.
So it's just not transportation.
No.
However, I would caution you, all of you, to make sure that we keep some sort of transportation intact here because transportation is viable.
Oh, I definitely
It
agree.
brings people in the community and as well as takes them out of the community. You know, I don't live in Sylvania, but I do a lot of work in Sylvania. I do a lot with Flower Hospital, a lot with Sylvania Township, and, you know, it just would like, I would hope that we are able to maintain the transit network. And I thank you for you guys' time, and I look forward to the vote.
Hey, Ernie.
Sir, can you spell your last name for us? I can't.
It's Branshaw, Brancheau.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. Jessica Weinberg?
I've spoken at these meetings before, but I will reiterate, I do live in Sylvania Township, even though the address on paper says Toledo. I am a law school graduate, licensed to practice in Ohio, but I do not have a driver's license, and there's a disability-related reason for that, which I won't go into in detail. But, and I'm more fortunate than a lot of, I am a Tartar and Tarps rider. I'm more fortunate than a lot of those in being able to have some, also have some family support. That's not going to last forever. It looks like my brother is going to choose a graduate school in North Carolina. And I really feel that, particularly for me, given my particular combination of strengths and disability, that my biggest barrier to being employed is, and participating in the community in every other way, is or could be public transportation. Because there's no reasonable accommodation for not being able to get to work for many jobs. There's no, you can install ramps, you can have, you can use Braille, you can use assistive technology, but it's hard to accommodate somebody that can't get to work. It seems to me, as far as the right to vote on using TARTA, it seems like it's a better, well, first of all, Sylvania Township was one of the few municipalities that stood in the way of Lucas County voters having the right to replace, let's say the right to choose between property tax and sales tax for funding TARTA. Because I think our previous speaker is correct in that in a climate that's bad for property ownership, any kind of service that relies on that for its revenue is going to take a hit. But it seems that, and in fact, I mean, TARTA would not be, would probably not have been advocating that sales tax for itself if that wasn't going to put more revenue into the system, hopefully that would expand services. It seems to me that getting out of TARTA, particularly now that it's been made easier, really should be the last step in this process, the earlier steps being put on, instead of a resolution to opt out of TARTA, put that on the ballot. It seems like what needs to be on the table is what are your alternative plans for public transportation? It seems like those need to come first, and voters exercising their right to vote, do they want TARTA or not, it should be with that information about what you're going to put in its place. I'm also concerned about whether the people in Sylvania Township that do ride TARTA, I don't know exactly what that number is, but I have a feeling not all of them are here tonight, not all of them knew about this meeting. So I wonder if we've...
Well, Jessica, I can tell you one thing, that it costs us about $37 a rider from the township and about $16 or $15 from the city of Sylvania to ride TARTA. Are based on our taxes. I
think another unanswered question is, given that City of Sylvania residents vote on the township trustees, if it goes on the ballot in Sylvania Township, is that also for City of Sylvania?
City of Sylvania still is going to maintain, they have their separation, and they would still be able to get to the Ability Center and use the Ability Center. They would just pass through the township to get there.
Earlier, you mentioned your concern about not having ambulances. Although we don't think of TARTA and TARPs as emergency vehicles, access to the day-to-day, that's certainly going to affect people's access to day-to-day health care, which can help prevent emergency situations where you need ambulances and other very life-sustaining kind of services. I really do know riders who say they fear for their lives when they hear that public transportation might be eliminated. And finally, I think you asked me earlier tonight about Toledo's sister city projects. That's, it's the city of Toledo that does Sister City, for that to be, for that to also be having an impact on Sylvania Township implies that we have some joint, we are kind of a joint community. I think not having a transit system that runs through all the municipalities kind of cuts off those connections.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And Jessica, thank you for your comments, and Ernie also. If we could just limit to 3 minutes, I'd appreciate it. And my apology for not saying that earlier, but thank you for your comments. Charles, and again, sorry. Charles Cater?
Preach.
Apologize, sorry.
And Jessica, while he's getting up there, I'm on the Sister Cities Board in Sylvania City out here. So I'm concerned about those things too.
I've lived in the township for 40 years. I live at 5927 Outpost Road. I just got my tax bill, and I understand all these people's concern, but my concern is I never got to vote on this. I'm paying over $800 a year for TARDA. I don't use it. I know people need it. I don't need it. I own a building over on North Republic Boulevard. I'm paying over $2,000, and not one single person in my building uses TARDA. And I have an accounting, I have lawyers, I have some other people in there. Not one. I went to the next building over. They're paying about the same as we are. Not one uses it. And we go down all the way down North Republic Boulevard, and they're paying all this money and nobody's using it.
We paid $2 million.
What?
We paid $2 million from the township to TARDA.
So I'm just saying, I know we have to have some kind of transportation.
I agree.
But I want to vote. It's my taxes. I never got to vote on this, ever. And I've been in this township for 40 years. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Charles, can you spell your last name there for us?
It's on there, C-R-E-E-C-H.
E-E-C-H.
I couldn't read it.
That's all right. Put your glasses on.
If I put them on, it will get worse.
If I could just say a quick thing, I think our legal counsel is in discussions with TARDA on the various options that are going to be provided for us in the future, and I appreciate your comments. And with that, I did speak with Mr. Gee, and he's willing to, we want like some public input. I'd love for you to come back. I appreciate your insight, along with Mr. Gee, with a plan of what he's thinking of how he wants to approach it and what tact he wants to take in the future for the township. And you're right.
Available anytime.
Yes, thanks. And you're right, we're working for you guys, and that we want to do what's right for everybody, so.
Is that,
Yes.
Is that it?
And, well, forgive me here, but Penny's on the list for stormwater, is that,
Is anyone else for TARDA?
that's it?
I want to make one final comment about TARDA. I agree with you, it's $2 million that we're paying from the township for TARDA. I do feel our citizens need to vote on it. I guess the only thing that I have against Mr. Gee is that he's running a very poor system himself, because when I went to several of the meetings, the people that work there do more than he does. And it's like this, when they came here and begged us to put this levy on this year again and try to change it to a sales tax, it's like all politicians, they show up when they want your vote and they get out of here and you never hear from them again. I said, come to us after this passes or fails, give us a plan that we can look at that you want to regionalize and put on a sales tax, we can look into it. But when you have a community like Oregon, that's run by all the Democrats that are all my friends and relatives over there, and they don't want TARDA. And when I see people like that who say, well, we care about people, but we don't want TARDA in our community, how does that make us feel when we are one of the wealthiest parts of Lucas County, and we're paying all the bills for everybody, like the stormwater thing that's going to cost us $1 million and more property tax for you, that I wanted to opt out of and get our own system going for less than half the cost. But that's my say on it for a final note. Thank you.
next on the agenda is the hearing by the public on non-agenda items, and we had a couple people sign up.
Ernie? Oh, you know what, I'm sorry. You already spoke here. We got a little mixed up here. My apologies. Art Holtfroder?
Good evening.
My name's Art Holtfretter, and I live at 5780 Sun Valley Boulevard in the Grove Bell subdivision off Erie Street. And I'm currently the president of the Grove Bell Homeowners Association. And board wanted to express our disapproval of a proposed site of 7610 Erie Street for the relocation of Fire Station Number 1. We understand that this land is currently zoned residential and would require a special use permit that would have to be filed and approved by City Council. It doesn't make sense to us to put a fire station in the middle of 3 residential neighborhoods. Without going into too much explanation for that, couple of reasons for not wanting that. Number 1, noise level, and the safety of the school children walking to and from school, which Highland Elementary is located just to the west of that property, and also home values. And we just want to get it on the record that as an association, we do not support this location for Fire Station Number 1. As you can see this evening, this opinion is supported by, there's over 20 people from our subdivision that are here, that are homeowners, and many more that are not here or could not attend this evening. So we just wanted to get this on record that Grove Bell does not support that location. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And Ernie, sorry, I overlooked you again, I apologize.
It's all right. I just wanted to, it was and wasn't on the agenda, so I wanted to bring this up. The new addition for the Chief Deputy Carroll from the Toledo Police Department is a welcome asset, and I believe he can bring a lot of experience to the township. So I believe that was a very good move. In the purchase of the P-71 cruisers for the police department, looking out for the safety, and you know, the P-71s are a little bit bigger than the new style cruisers, so I think that is a new addition to the welcome addition as well to the township. And I think, you know, I spend a lot of time at the Ability Center, and I do a lot of, knowing that, you know, we have the police department that's fully enforced and have the resources that they have, make it a better and safe community for people like me. So, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Is that all the items?
That being it, I'd like to make a motion to go in executive session to discuss
Did Penny want to speak? You just.
Oh, yeah, you know what, it was scratched off, sorry. Come on up. Yeah. Sorry, you know what, I looked at it scratched off, I apologize. And it wasn't me, I promise you. Okay, no problem.
You're forgiven.
Hi, Penny Levine, 3753 Her Road. Just another question, anything moving forward on the stormwater? I've still not received any answers from the county side after serving 4 years on this committee. And as you know, I still feel that we can do better. And it's too expensive. These are tough times for our citizens, and we will not get the bang for our buck that we deserve. So Kevin has formulated in the last couple months his thing, as you know, and I hope you've looked at it, and also Trustee Genowine, on the ERU units. I myself have put together the proposal, which you have, which had to do with the square footage as the city of Sylvania uses, with different breakdowns from 10 cents, 15 cents, that kind of thing per front footage. Still have not received questions, so therefore I wondered, are you still tabling this on a decision that was made prior for 2009 that none of us really knew, for the prior administration that locks us into 2014? I still feel that we can get out of it. It just takes putting heads together, formulating a plan, appeasing the EPA, and getting ourselves out of something, then putting something together that we have control over. We decide what we can do with it, when we want to do it, for 1/3 the cost. And that's my feeling on that. And I would hope that somebody is moving forward with this so that if and when it has to go to a judge in order to get out of that commitment that was done prior, less time spent in it, maybe the easier way out to get out, period. And I think they look at that when they look at someone trying to remove from a program that I feel is too costly for what we will get in return. So I hope you are putting your heads together and looking at this. You know, this is something that was signed in 2009, and, you know...
You know what, I'm glad you keep bringing up the comments every month, because it's, it's something that's definitely on the radar screen from my standpoint. I'm still waiting on a business plan that is, as I mentioned last month, we are running a business out here. And
this is a government.
Our customers, okay, we can debate that at another day. But we're running this as our customers are out here. And if I see a plan, personally, I see a business plan that controls the water the way the county has provided, I'm more than happy. I've said it publicly for 2 months.
Mr. Mahoney, so would I, but you're in the driver's seat, I am a citizen, and it shouldn't be up to the citizen to formulate the plan. You guys, it's your job, you're getting paid, you need to formulate the plan.
You'll hear the same answer every month. Until I see a business plan that is better than what the plan's been provided by the county over 8 years of studies, then I'll entertain it.
The county has not studied that for over 8 years. I sat on that board for 4 years.
Okay.
They only formulated this plan in the last 4 years. Neither township nor the county wanted to do anything about it until enough people screamed and there was enough damage in the township, a declared disaster in 2006, where FEMA had to come in. And I have some farmers and business people here that can verify that. That is the only time that back in '07 when we all screamed. Anyway, sure.
Briefly, first of all, this is a government, she's correct. These people are here are not our customers. They vote you into this office, they vote you...
They're who you work for.
We work for them.
That's right.
I'm out there on the streets, when a citizen calls me up and said a tree fell into the city during the storm, and the city dumped it in the township, I went over and cut the tree up personally because it wasn't on our schedule to pick it up with the roads. I work for these people. What they want is what they get, and if they don't get what they want, you're not going to sit here next year. So as a stormwater, I have been researching this whole aspect of it. The stormwater thing comes into play, the fact that the county wants our money of $1 million, which is almost half the amount they need for all 7 districts. We are a home rule township. Under 504, I know you're not familiar with the Ohio Revised Code, but under 504 home rule townships, .18, we have the ability to do this. I'm going to the Ohio Township Association on August 5th to ask them to put some agenda items in front of the legislature to allow us to collect under ERUs as a home rule township.
Great.
So I want to let you know that's what we're doing.
And gosh, you know what, I'm glad you brought up a good point. I'm hoping I didn't say, we're your customers, because we are your customers, or we work for you guys, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. The stormwater thing, we've spent, I can't tell you how much money we've spent on it.
Nothing.
And as far as
$50,000 back in '09.
We've spent, I would like to keep this to 3 minutes if we can. And you know my position with it, and I'd look forward to having Kevin get the plan and helping us make the right decision. Because heavens, yes, I'd love to save the township residents, including myself, money. And that, I have no qualms with that. So, thank you again.
Exactly, and that's why I'm asking for you guys, it's your job to formulate a plan and figure this out so we can try and get out of the situation that we did not ask for in order to pay 1/3 of the bill and not over $1 million, which will increase through a 5-year period. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go into executive session, I'd like to talk to everybody out here who's from the Grove Bell area and is concerned about the fire station. I'll stand up so it's easier to hear me. What happened is we looked at all the properties that were available before Mr. Mahoney came on the board that were available for the fire station. The prime place that they did a study on was at Parkwood over there by Sleepy Hollow. That was a bad area because it's all filled with cement and concrete and it was a crappy area to build a fire station. I wanted to build it next to the administration building. The city council did not want us to do it there. It's nothing against city council. They just said, no, we don't want it downtown. And that was a good place to put it because the old property is gonna cost us well into $1 million to tear it down, revamp it. One second, Mike, when I'm done. When I'm done, you can talk.
That's not true.
But I'm saying, you can say what you wanna say when I'm done.
The school board didn't want it.
I know, the school, I know, but city said, well, let's not go there.
Like if you're gonna say it.
You're right, he's right. School said they didn't want it next to school, it was gonna disrupt the kids, and the city said then we won't move forward on that position. You're correct, Mike, thank you for correcting me on that one. We looked at every other aspect. Just now, I found out that they're selling the property on the corner of Haroon and Brent, what we were looking into. That's gonna be a business there, so that's off the pages too. The only reason we looked at across the street from you guys at Grove Bell was the mayor came up and said, why don't you look at the site across the Grove Bell? I says, what site? He goes, the White House. I said, where I put my sign? He goes, yeah. I said, well, that's 2 acres of land. That's not a bad idea. So when we looked at that, it was a proper site. The fire chief sat down, police chief both said, it's a good area to put it because it would balance the whole township out with medical service. Now, I'm going to finish before you keep shaking your heads no, so you can understand what we did. We looked at that, and I know that everybody says, well, I don't want a fire station across the street. They don't make any noise anymore. If it's late at night, they don't have the sirens going out. I'm just giving you reasons why we consider that area. And it won't be a problem to put it there because what we would do is beautify that piece of property, make some nice looking trees and, greenery around there, put where the swale's going to be a nice fountain in there to make it look nice, and it would beautify the area. And I would like a representative from your community to look at some of the architectural designs because it will not be the same structure that we're going to build if we continue on to that site. I'm just saying that's what site came up. I understand everybody doesn't really want it there, but we need to put it somewhere or we defeated what the levy did. So I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked the people at Parkwood. Help me find a site. And that will help us out. So help us find a site. Instead of saying, that's dead in stone, it was a nice property, it's 2 acres, but help us find a site to put Fire Station 1. We can't leave it in the middle of downtown. Thank you.
But that's not our job to help you find a site.
Yeah, it's because you live over there and you're going to say, well, you know what, that property's for sale. What about this one, Mr. Haney? Just give me a call if you see something.
But you work for us.
I'm working. That's the only...
work for you.
I know, but that's the only site I could find so far.
You're gonna have to look elsewhere. What about
Centennial Road.
Well, if we go out to Centennial, the city's upset because it won't be in the city anymore. And we did look at that location. And there is several properties available at Centennial area. And I would love to put it out there, but the bad thing is going to be, is the people in the city, in the main part of the city, and the downtown people are going to scream because they don't have anything available to them for if there's emergency. We looked at the old, what's his name's place over there, property where they had the bar and restaurant and everything over there. Haymarket. He wants $800,000 for that property. I thought that was an ideal piece of property. It's downtown, it's out of everybody's way. If you can convince him to sell the property for $500,000, I would rather look there and not go anywhere else, to be honest with you. Because that way we can go in and out of every street and it's not in a neighborhood. So, you guys work on him and send him some letters and get us to put it there. And I would love to put it there and the city council, I think, would approve that site.
Where are the runs? Where are the majority of the runs?
Chief?
Mr. Haddad, I thought we were going to have an open...
We will, but I'm saying we will have it open. Do you want to have an open forum on that?
I think the best thing to do is to have an open forum, invite people to come.
We will set up a special meeting for that so you guys can come and let's discuss it. That's very good, okay?
I agree.
We will set that up in the future. We'll come up with a date. We'll make sure it's available so people can attend, so it's in the evening, not in the afternoon. Okay?
Great.
Sounds good? Thank you very much.
How will you notify us?
We will put it on our website. We'll have it in the email, and I will contact Art, the president, because I have his email address and everything. So that way, if he says, Kevin Hanna didn't contact me, then you guys can say, well, he's full of it. But I will contact him and let him know when and where. So you can let your residents know, okay? Sounds good. Thanks, Art, because I got your email. I just didn't want to say anything till we were so ready to move forward. That's why I didn't respond to you yet.
Okay, now, next item on the agenda is the executive session.
Executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss personnel, fire, and zoning department.
At 7:53.
Sorry, yeah, thanks, 7:53.
Second. Yes.
Yes. Hope I didn't screw that up. I didn't mean that.
Kevin,